Hello everyone, it is Matthew. Welcome back to a brand new video. And today I'm going to be ranking all the roller coasters at Kings Island theme park located in Mason, Ohio. As you guys may know, a few days ago I got to go to Kings Island for my very first time and we had a ton of fun. I even filmed a vlog there, so if you haven't seen that, make sure after this video go check out my Kings Island vlog I did. But today, I thought it'd be a really cool idea if we ranked all the roller coasters because there's 14 total roller coasters, a lot of very good ones. We got to ride basically all of them. So today, ranking all 14 roller coasters from worst to best. Before we get started though, I would like to mention if you disagree with my rankings, please don't get mad at me. Everybody has different opinions and different likes and dislikes about certain roller coasters. But do comment down below, what are your favorite roller coasters? What would you rank as your top roller coasters at Kings Island? Also, before we get started, make sure you guys leave a like on the video and go down and hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. So now, we're going to start with number 14. I don't think this needs any exclamation. We have the Great Pumpkin Coaster located in Planet Snoopy. This is a kid's roller coaster. This is the only roller coaster we did not get to ride. It's a kid's coaster. That's all that really needs to be known. Nothing special about it. So number 14 for the Great Pumpkin Coaster. Number 13, we have the Flying Ace Aerial Chase. This is another kids coaster. It may have a little bit of a more extreme layout, but still definitely a kids coaster. And it also only had one train running and was pretty rough, so that made the ride a little less enjoyable. And as I said, it's a kids ride, so it lands at number 13. Now we move on to number 12. We have Woodstock Express. This was a roller coaster that opened in 1972 with the opening of the park, and this roller coaster is another one more suited for kids, but it is somewhat enjoyable, definitely something you may want to try once when you go to Kings Island. I don't really know where would be the best spot to ride in, but it's just an overall okay coaster. You get a little bit of airtime and stuff. I guess the back row would be the best, but more suited for younger people, but if you go, may try it once. It's an okay coaster. So, now on to number 11. This is where we start to see a huge incline in the quality of the coasters. And at number 11, we have Adventure Express. You guys may think this is a little bit too low, but this is probably the only coaster in the park I wasn't the biggest fan of. There wasn't anything crazy about the coaster. There was a good theming, and also it was very, very rough for the time I rode it. So that pushed the ranking back to number 11. It was an okay coaster. It has the infamous final lift hill where you're in this crazy tunnel and then you just come out and you're literally at the end of the ride. So it was an okay ride, but there wasn't anything special, any moments that I really enjoyed like the next 10 coasters coming up. So now we move on to number 10. We have the Lot Stunt coaster. The first launch going into the upwards helix, that was insane. You get some crazy, almost feel like you're gonna gray out and stuff on that first launch and all the helix. And then at the end, you go into a complete darkness of a tunnel right after you go by the helicopter and stuff. But there wasn't anything like crazy special that put this coaster over the top. That's why I have this at number 10. It was a very good ride. I would definitely ride it again when I go back and stuff, but just an average ride landing it at number 10. We now move on to number 9, and we have the Racer. This is a coaster that I really enjoyed. I didn't find anything really bad about it. You have two coasters racing, and it's an old wooden coaster. This was the main attraction at Kings Island when the park first opened, and I really enjoyed it. I really like the first drop. You get a little bit of airtime, especially if you're sitting in the back, which is where we were, and it was a pretty good ride. Again, there wasn't anything like crazy about it, but I enjoyed it and definitely would ride it again, and the Racer lands at number 9. Number 8, we have the Bat. You guys may think this is a little bit too low for the Bat, but I'm not rating it low because there was something I didn't like about it. More so because the coasters above it I really, really enjoyed a little bit more, and the Bat I really liked. I'm pretty sure there's a clone like this in a park in Canada. The suspended coasters, the car swing was an amazing touch, and it's the roller coaster is kind of by itself over in kind of like a canyon away from the park, so that's a really cool element and stuff. This as the first drop I really enjoyed and all the good turns and stuff. But number 8 for the bat. We now move on to number 7. I have in Vertigo. I'm pretty sure this is one of the very few, maybe even the only like boomerang type coaster of that certain type left, and I really enjoyed this one. This one, I didn't have any problems with it being too rough or any rattles or head banging. We got the very like back seat, and I think that made it because on the first drop, all you see is the sky, there's nothing in front of you, and then you get dropped, and then going backwards while going through the loops and inversions and stuff, that was so much fun, and I really enjoyed in Vertigo a lot more than I was expecting, and that lands it at number 7 on my rankings. Number 6, we have the Flight of Fear. This is probably the coaster that exceeded my expectations more than anyone. This is a spaghetti bowl type coaster. I'm pretty sure there's a clone coaster in King's Dominion, but I love this coaster. The theming is amazing. The launch was amazing. It is a little bit rough, and the restraints are not as good for taller people like me, but I love this coaster. So many head-chopping moments and so many inversions, and with it being in the dark and stuff, made it such a cool coaster to ride, and I loved it, and Flight of Fear lands at number 6. Now we get to our top 5. You guys could probably guess what 5 coasters were in the top 5, because these are the 5 roller coasters Kings Island's known for. Now, number 5 may be the most shocking pick for you guys. Please don't get mad at me. At number 5, we have Mystic Timbers. I know lots of people have Mystic Timbers in at least their top 3. Some people even have it at 2 and 1. I loved Mystic Timbers. There wasn't anything bad about it. I love the first drop. I'd say probably the best seat to be in is actually the front, because the back, other than the first drop, I think the front was better. We got 2 rides, one in the front, one in the back. It goes through the woods and stuff. A lot of good moments and stuff throughout the coaster, especially when you go back into the woods. It's a very fast coaster, especially for it being a wooden coaster, very smooth. The only reason I have it at 5 is because the coasters above it I just liked a little bit more. There wasn't anything bad about it. It's just I like the other coasters a little bit more, especially for what people were hyping up Mystic Timbers to be over certain coasters. Like our number 4 spot, at number 4 we have the Beast. The longest wooden coaster on the planet. It was amazing, especially the ending going into that double helix. Probably one of the best moments I've ever experienced on a roller coaster. It made it. The night rides are insane. You gotta make sure you get a night ride on the Beast because it's all deep, secluded in the woods. It was so much fun. The first part of it, before the second lift hill, if we were just judging off that, that's probably like 6 or 7. But the helix, the double helix at the end, made the ride for me, put it all the way at number 4, and just for that moment alone, I had to ride this multiple more times throughout the day just because of that. And the Beast is actually really smooth. I know they got retracked this year. That must have made a big help because I know lots of people told me it was pretty rough. It was actually really smooth when I went. So, number 4, the Beast. Number 3, we go to the Banshee. I love this ride. This is a ride that has 7 inversions, and it was so much fun. The first drop was amazing. The very first time we rode it, I almost debated on putting this ride at number 1. We rode it again, and we noticed a lot more of a rattle on it. It wasn't anything awful for the rattle, but it definitely did kind of move it behind the top 2. But overall, this was such an amazing ride. You get an amazing, just kind of like near miss moments, especially if you're in the front, and a ton of G-forces on this ride with all the inversions and stuff. The pretzel knot roll is one of the best moments of any roller coaster in the park. So the Banshee lands at number 3 in my rankings. Now we move on to the top 2. These two are no doubt, in my opinion, the top 2, and since we went to Kings Island a few days ago, I've been juggling back and forth on which one to put at 1. And who knows, this may change in a few days for me. But number 2, I have Orion. You guys may be shocked. The new Giga Coaster Kings Island have not finishing at number 1 for me. This is another case where it's not that there wasn't anything bad about it. It's that I liked number 1 just a little bit more. Orion, the first drop was insane. If you're in the back, oh my gosh, the first drop is insane. It's so insane, if you watch the vlog, Caden literally lost his shoe on the ride Orion was amazing, and many good G-forces. I think it goes 91 miles per hour or something like that. It was an amazing coaster, a giga coaster. One of the workers we were talking to said it's one of the top 9 tallest coasters in the world, and it lives up to the hype. It is a very smooth coaster, obviously, for it being pretty new. I loved Orion, and the first drop was insane. But now, we move on to number 1. We have Diamondback. Diamondback finishes number 1 on my rankings. The reason for that is because the amount of airtime you get on this coaster is something I've never experienced. The Voyage, as you guys know, is a coaster I've ridden thousands of times since Holiday World. It's kind of my home park. This literally gave me more airtime probably than the Voyage, which is insane. The sustainable airtime was crazy, especially on the first drop, then in the first hill, and the front maybe doesn't get as much airtime. I would say if you're riding in the back, then Diamondback is my clear-cut number 1. If we're going off front seat, I probably would have put Orion at number 1, but the back ride on Diamondback cannot be beat. The amount of airtime we got, all the turns, all the laterals, all the G-forces on Diamondback, I loved it. But the airtime is the main reason I gotta put it at number 1, and it was so enjoyable. I love Diamondback. This hypercoaster definitely did not disappoint, and Diamondback lands at number 1, and there's my rankings. So, as I said, if you disagree with them, please don't get mad at me. Everybody has different opinions, and honestly, there's so many coasters that I can see switched and stuff, but it was all very close. But there's my rankings. Hopefully you all enjoyed. As I said, comment down below your rankings of the coasters at Kings Island. It was a ton of fun going to Kings Island, and so many good coasters there. So hopefully you all enjoyed the video. Make sure you leave a like, and as I said, make sure you guys subscribe. Also, if you guys can buy my merchandise. That is the first link in the description. And as I said, lastly, if you haven't seen the Kings Island vlog, definitely go check out that, because that was a lot of fun. But that's going to be all for today's video. A lot of cool videos coming out soon, so make sure you're subscribed, and more theme park videos as well. I know more Holiday World videos. We're going to try to get in a Kentucky Kingdom video and stuff, so be ready for that. But till next time, see ya! Say that it feels right.